chill in chat. Hey y'all. Can you hear me? I've got my my little earbud in, but I don't know how well it sounds to you guys. Because last time I didn't use like this. So let me know if you can hear. Yes, we do all. We just need to like in chat because there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on. Hey, hey, hey. Hi, you guys. So, hey, Len. Hey, Mira. Okay, great. So I really don't want to just like jump into the James Charles thing. I want to let people come in, get situated, because this all just kind of hit within the last couple hours. And I've been, on Twitter trying to figure, like, I know where people stand. Thanks. My little earrings from Amazon. This is a necklace my mom got me that I wear like every day. Yes, Claire, again. Actually, let me turn my heater off. I do this every single time. I've got like this bright light on me and my heat is on. Thank you. This shirt was from the Silvery T-shirt company. I'll actually turn on the air a little bit. So let's see. Well, so Queen, here's the thing. Like, I wasn't quick with it. It just got all over Twitter really fast. The first person I saw tweet about it was Def Noodles. So yeah. Bernie's mittens. That's perfect. We love that. Yeah, exactly, Kiki. You woke up just in time, Lynn. So things that have been going on this week. I know I wrote some stuff down. Let me look. So it seems like was the whole DaBaby and Jojo Siwa thing, was that this week as well? Was that early this week or late last week? Because either way, I haven't talked about it yet. And that also has to do with James. So Isabel, long story short, there's another young individual. Okay, early this week. There's a young individual who leaked pictures that James had sent. Like, hey, Karmatics, that James had sent this person some explicit photos, and that person came forward today. But let's talk about the DaBaby Jojo Siwa thing real quick. So here's the thing, and I am gonna do no, Nala, not at all. I'm gonna do a separate video on this situation, just because I don't think anybody calling out DaBaby for his lyrics were wrong. I just think it's weird that he used a minor's name and then called her out of her name. Now everybody is like, well, he didn't actually call her the B word. It was like a double entendre. And it's like, okay, great. We understand play on words, but first of all, that play on word was not even clever. It wasn't like, oh, that was great. Like, okay, my favorite one is Lil Wayne when he says, real G's move in silence like lasagna. And it's like, oh, ha, clever. I get it, because the G in lasagna is silent, So, hey, AR. And I know you, we're gonna be talking AR. Like, that is good wordplay. And I actually asked on Twitter for people to, give me their favorite play words when it came to music. What DaBaby said was something about JoJo. He said the B word, then said Jojo Siwa, held up her picture, and then said the B word again. And it was like, wait a second, do they got some kind of beef that we don't know about? But of course, he's a grown man and she's a 17-year-old child. And then people wanted to be like, she's actually 18. First of all, no, she's not. And secondly, her being 18 wouldn't make it any better. Where would they cross paths? That's what I want to know. When would DaBaby and Jojo Siwa ever cross paths? That's what I want to know. Right, Adrian? Like, nobody understood those play on words. So then once it came out and everybody, and he's like, oh, it was supposed to be like B word, Jojo, which I guess his real name is Jonathan, but who knew that? Who knew that his name was Jonathan until that point in time? Like, nobody knew his name was Jonathan unless he's a true fan. But you can't use that in a play on words that people don't even know your real name. And then it was supposed to be like Sia or Sia or whatever. It just didn't make any sense. Oh, okay. Sorry, okay, I'm old Shadow. So I just know him as DaBaby. Like, I know there's DaBaby. I know there's DaBaby. I know there's Baby. Like, there's just too many of them. But I know who DaBaby is because he's got that really nice smile, and like, that's all I really know about him. Oh, and I know he likes to punch people for no reason. But it just didn't click to anybody who doesn't regularly listen to his music. And then the fact that he used Jojo Siwa, like a 17-year-old girl, that I don't know. So when people were talking about it and calling him out, I think, because I know I tweeted about it and I was just like, this is weird. Like, why would he call her out of her name? And then people started saying, oh, here's the explanation. I said, oh, okay, that makes sense, but it's still not okay. And then here comes James, and, of course, he had his 10 cents to say, but like, that's not part, and people, of course, were like, well, stay out of Black people's business and this, that, and the other. And James was like, it's not a Black issue, which he's not wrong. It wasn't a Black issue. It was a culture issue, like a rap culture thing. And unless Jojo Siwa came out and specifically said something along the lines of, I feel some type of way or whatever, then maybe he could have came to her rescue. But it's always just weird how, and I understand Jojo is his friend. I understand that. But this was a cultural issue, not an everybody issue. At least that's just how I feel. And yes, Jojo is his friend, but I mean, this was maybe like a day or two after, and I feel like if Jojo had something to say, then she would have said it. And maybe she was just like, okay, whatever. Like, maybe she didn't even care. He's no Eminem saying lately she's been on the web. Oh, he's no Eminem saying lately she's been on the web lately saying maybe she'll be my Gwen Stacy despite her man has double meaning. Exactly. Ooh, lentils. Yummy. And Allie, you're right. Jojo cannot fight battles through her friends, especially somebody like James. Like, James is going to get attacked. Now, was his point valid? Yes. I don't think DaBaby should have ever used her name in that situation. I really, really don't. Well, I mean, look at, like, okay, Shell, look at Kanye and Taylor Swift. Like, Kanye first of all, he asked Taylor and was like, hey, can I use your name in a song, whatever. And nobody knew when that song came out or whatever. Nobody knew that Kanye had talked to Taylor. Now, granted, she also wasn't 17. I don't know. But then I think when people started harping on Kanye and was like, you should have never used her name, this, that, and the other, that's when Taylor played victim. And then Kanye or Kim, somebody leaked the audio and was like, actually, no, Taylor, like, no, Taylor, like, you were very aware. And at least Kanye had the decency to ask. And we could all be stepping on toes. How do we know that DaBaby didn't ask Jojo? How do we know? I haven't heard anything about Jojo coming out and saying, you know, hey, thanks for sticking up for me, or I can't believe DaBaby would say anything, you know, about me. I don't know. I don't know. It's just, period. I just don't think he should have I don't think he should have used her name. AR says, my issue is who they choose who they come to the defense of and who they choose to attack. And I think that's where implicit bias comes in, where for instance, and no, you're fine, AR. For instance, when Alicia Keys came out and said she's starting a beauty line, which beauty covers everything. Hi, Kelly. Beauty covers everything, right? And, you know, James was the first one to hop on and be like, this is a cash grab. You know, you said you don't wear makeup, this, that, and the other. Well, she never said she was wearing, it was a makeup product. She said it was skincare. It was skincare. And then, you know, then he backtracked. But where was the anger when Kris Jenner was like, I'm going to make a skincare line? What? For what? You're literally famous for no reason. Like, where was the outrage when Kylie, who visibly got plastic surgery and was like, here's my lip kit and you can have big lips like me? That's not how you got your big lips. You got your big lips through surgery, you know, and then she put out remember that lip sucker thing? And you would suck on it and then it would like burst all the blood vessels in your lips so that you could have like plump lips. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? So where was the outrage then? Because the Kardashians and the Jenners they're famous for like right now. I want you guys quickly tell me their talent. Quickly. Yeah. AR said also him wanting to protect Jojo because she's underage, but failed to speak about that Lopez brother. Are you talking about, are you talking about what the Lopez brothers did to that underage kid? Standing still, culture vultures, talented and annoying, and annoying Kiki. None. Singing, duh. You're right, Adrian. Oh, hey, Cindy, I didn't see you. Tape with, not Brandy's brother. You know that man's name is Ray J. Talented at theft. Like, this is what I'm talking about. So for them to just hop on trends, makeup trends, like, you know, like Kim starting a beauty line, which I understand she is like a beauty ASMR glow. Hey, like hopping on a beauty trend. Now I understand she does wear makeup and she does have like a big audience or whatever, but she's not a makeup, like she's not a beauty guru. She's not a makeup artist. So I think that's more of a cash grab than Alicia Keys going, hey, like I focus on my skincare, so I'm putting out skincare. You know, I don't know. And AR is very right. It's about who they choose to just defend and people who they choose to attack. And this isn't just about James. This is about a lot of people. you know, a lot of people. Let's see. And Kim's gonna have to change her branding stat. Oh gosh. And then now Kim and Kanye getting a divorce, which honestly nobody cares about. Nobody cares about. Listen, Adrian, you want to go half and half on a tape? Like, that's what's making people famous. And then they get to be famous to do nothing. How many influencers are famous for no reason? That's what I want to know. How many influencers have gotten all these opportunities for nothing? And Athena, you're right. That was so predictable. Yep, that's exactly what it's because they're white. And okay, I was on Twitter and there was like or maybe it was TikTok, but there was a thread and it was, thank you, Shadow. That's exactly who I was thinking. There was a thread of name somebody who you cannot stand, but they were right in a certain situation. And it was Omarosa. And she was on a TV show with Bethany, which I don't know who she is. I think she's a housewife or something. And Omarosa said, you know, as a Black woman, I have to be excellent. I have to be damn near perfect to achieve something that a mediocre white person can have. And the whole audience was like, boo, boo. And then Omarosa was like, I'm not calling you mediocre, which she should have. Who is Bethany? Quickly. And why does she have a TV show? Why is she hosting a TV show? Now, do we like Omarosa? No. I mean, I don't like her opinions. But she was right in that moment. She was 100% right in that moment. Black people in general have to be, like, if this is the bar, Black people, like, you can't even see it. You can't even see it. And here's a quote that Chris Rock I always say. He says, when you're white, the sky's the limit. When you're Black, the limit is the sky. And I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill. Because it, like, just look at society. Look at society. Let me see. Bethany is a housewife, but she didn't deserve all of that. Some of these people are allowed to fail upwards. Yes, yes, yes. Black folks, hi, Xavier. Black folks got to work 5 times as hard to get 1/3, not even half, 1/3 of the credit. And yeah, let's see. Adrian said, we've got to be perfection to even have folks look at us. It's frustrating and angering. And it is. And like, I don't even know how else to put it. And then you have people that will justify it by going, well, I mean, look, you guys, Barack Obama was the president. Like, how much better can you get? And I'm just tired of having the same conversation over and over and over. Case in point, there was, in the gymnastics world, there was a man, just I don't even know his name. It's somewhere in the title. Justin Geddert, Tyler, Duncan. I don't know what his name is, but he was found guilty of sex trafficking young women in the gymnastics community. He had to turn himself in because, I mean, he was charged. It was like 24 counts of this and 25 counts of this. And it was honestly the most shocking thing I'd ever seen in my life. He had to turn himself in. Well, he decided to unalive himself. So now his victims don't get justice. And I had tweeted, because I have a cheerleading account, and I had tweeted, abolish old, clear men, especially in the gymnastics and cheerleading industry, because these men are on top. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to cheerleading, the USASF and varsity are basically the governing bodies of cheerleading. Both of the presidents, I'll give you guys one guess. And all of the people that are in charge, I'll give you one guess. And people are constantly, and not just cheerleading, gymnastics as well, they're people who are being abused are constantly going to these old clear specimens and saying, you know, they're touching me inappropriately, they're doing this to me, they're doing that to me, and nothing's being done. And all of the people who are doing the abuse are old clear men things. So yes, abolish them. They've been in charge of everything, the government, for so long. For so long. Yes, and you know what? It's not even most of the cheerleading coaches, it's people who are in charge of like the governing body. Gymnastics, that's where the old man coaches are. That's where the old man coaches are in gymnastics. Larry Nassar. So if you guys have not watched Athlete A, I watch it. It should be on Netflix. It's called Athlete A, and it's about a gymnast and her mom, because she was getting abused by the USA team doctor, and her mom was trying to go to all these people, but she was being silenced. And then her daughter, who was the best, I mean, after Simone Biles, she was the best gymnast and did not get picked for the Olympic team because she was telling on these people. And it ended up getting to the point where they left her off of the Olympic team. Maggie Nichols is her name. And it was because she was snitching on these people. And then the FBI finally got involved, and Larry Nassar is serving like 60 life sentences or something. It's like 60 years plus. And if he outlives that, and he's like 50 something now. And then after that, because I think the 60 years is federal, and then for the state, it's like 100 plus another 100 plus another 100. Like, he's gone for life. And Larry is an old clear men thing. And it's sickening how many times these people have come forward, and people just want to brush it off as, like the whole, oh, like, you're just jealous. You're just looking for attention. Because the first girl who came forward, she was a gymnast, but she wasn't an Olympian by any, like, she would have never been an Olympian. She was, she was a younger or a lower level gymnast. And she was being treated by Larry Nassar. And she tried to go to her coach, and her coach blew her off. And then now you've got people, so like Bella Caroli, he's one of him and his wife, Marta Caroli, they were huge coaches back in the day. And they owned the Texas Ranch, where so when you get picked or when you're training for the Olympics, they all train together, because you might have people who their home gym is in California or Maryland or Florida, and they all meet in one area, so they're getting trained by the same coaches, kind of, in a way. Hi, Audra. And it was at the Texas Ranch, and Larry Nassar was the team doctor. And people are saying there's no way that Bella Caroli didn't know that these young girls were being abused. There's no way that he didn't know. So when Larry Nassar got arrested, Bella and Marta Caroli, nowhere to be found. They're originally from, I want to say, Bulgaria. I don't know, because when they started coaching, it was what was it when like Russia and it was like the USSR, maybe? Did I make that up? But they were still one country. And then when they split up, I don't think Bella Caroli went to Russia. I think he went to like I want to say maybe Bulgaria. But anyways, then he came to the United States, and the United States, especially the women, they have been untouchable since the Carolis came, and I guess like taught their way of training and this, that, and the other. But when the Balkans, when Larry Nassar got caught. Bella Caroli and Marta Caroli shut the ranch down and literally have not been seen or heard from since. No, they're not Hungarian. I'm gonna have to rewatch. It may be Ukraine, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and do my research. But I just know it was like they were still considered like the USSR, or they were still together as one country before they split up. Are they Hungarian? Oh, okay. But I know for a fact they never like fully coached, because what's her name? There it is. Belarus. Thank you so much. That's where they went to coach after they split. Because I know Hungary, they've never been like top when it comes to gymnastics. Belarus, Romania, they did work with the Romanians. I know that. So yeah. Hi, Milana. Okay, yeah. Romanian and Belarus sounds more familiar. But yeah, we have no idea where they are. And they knew what was happening. Because I was a competitive gymnast. My coaches were never abusive, but I can see like that there's like a thin line between like a good coach and a coach who just really doesn't care about your well-being. And I was coached hard, but your coach knew what was best for you. But I was never like abused or anything, but I can see, especially being at the Olympic level and people understanding, like, look at China. They literally abuse those kids. I mean, from the age of like 3, they kept them small. They kept them like super flexible. I mean, it was like a cult. And while like my coach was never like, okay, you need to weigh yourself every week, you need to do this, you need to do that. It was like, okay, well, now that you've grown 3 inches in a year, how can we make the skills fit to you? But I can see where you have to be like small and tiny. Same with figure skating, cheerleading. Like, I've been a part of all of these. Well, not figure skating, but I've been a part of all these cultures. So I know there's a thin line between like abuse and just being like a really good and hard coach. So I'm just waiting for the gymnasts from 1996, the ones that were coached by Bella Caroli and Marta Caroli. I'm waiting for them to come out. Like, they're my age and older. Dominique Moceanu, she already, I think when she was 16, she was emancipated because her father was her coach before she went to the Olympics. She went to the Olympics at 14 years old. Imagine being 14 and having to represent your entire country. But her dad used to abuse her, and he was Romanian. And then and that's how he got in touch with Bella Caroli. So it's all tied together. Dominique Dawes is my favorite. And she was one of the reasons that I started gymnastics, because, I used to watch and just see a bunch of, people. And I was like, but I want to do it. And representation matters. Like, even back in when I started gymnastics in 1991, maybe, is when I started gymnastics. And 1992 Olympics I watched, and Dominique Dawes is the only Black girl. But I was like, oh, I can be like her. Oh, and speaking of that, I had one of my old coaches tell me, because I talked about how there's a lot of racism in these sports when it comes to gymnastics and figure skating and ballet, and you don't see a lot of melanated people or brown people. You just see a lot of non-Black and non-people of color in sports like that. And my coach, she was one of my older coaches, and she goes, what do you mean? She was like, Simone Biles is the best gymnast, and she's Black. That reminds me of, well, You had one president, so you guys are like ruling the world. Simone Biles is the best gymnast because she's the best gymnast. And now there are going to be opportunities for more Black people because they see that it can be done. And not to mention, gymnastics is very expensive. So underprivileged kids don't really get to do sports like that. Like, imagine if underprivileged kids could get the opportunity to do sports like gymnastics and ballet. And that's why, and like, I hate to say this, but that's why you see a lot of Black men playing football and basketball. And I understand you've got travel basketball and stuff like that. And that can be just as expensive as these other sports. But you can just go out and shoot hoops and learn how to get your free throw right. You can learn how to dunk. And I'm not saying that basketball doesn't need coaching, because it does. But Allie's right. We need opportunity. Who's gonna, like, there's no set of uneven bars just at the park. There's no spring floors at the park where I can learn how to tumble. And then even if I do learn, how do I build that up? I can't just walk onto like a college campus and be like, or and even in gymnastics, there's no high school gymnastics. You can't just walk onto a high school or college campus and be like, hey, like, I've been outside of my backyard learning how to tumble for like 13 years. Can I be on your team? That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So, right. So anyways, it's been 30 minutes. Let's talk about this situation that's going on with James. Sorry I went on that rant, but yeah. So James Charles has been caught again sexting minors. Now, there are I guess I shouldn't say there's only two sides, but there's a lot. You've got people who are saying, well, it's the child's fault for lying to James. And then you've got people that are saying, oh, James is 1000% guilty and he should be locked up and throw away the key. Then you've got the middle ground where people are saying, listen, at what point do we hold people accountable for doing the same thing, over and over and over again? At what point? And because, okay, so here's the thing. James is definitely famous. Like, we'll give him like D-lister, people, I feel like people know his name. I feel like if you're walking down the street and you're like, yeah, me and James Charles, and somebody would go, oh my God, James Charles. Like, I feel like he's a household name. People know who he is. So why is he not being more careful as to who he's talking to? And as a famous person, you have to watch your back, because as we've learned time and time and time again, people do not have your best interests at heart. Now, here's the thing, and people will probably, you guys might just click off from this, but I don't think James Charles is inherently a bad person. I truly don't think he's a bad person. I think he does dumb shit. And there are people who are very, nope, like Athena just said, the child is an effing child. James should be with someone you can't question their age, because he obviously isn't careful and is more careless. The child is a child. And at this point, you cannot blame the child. That's just like if a parent, that's just like if a parent leaves a weapon out and the child gets a hold of it and something tragic happens. Are you going to blame the child for being curious? No, because the child doesn't know any better. No, you're going to blame the parent or the adult in this situation. And that's how I feel. Now, while yes, James didn't like go to him because, the kid said he had been messaging James, right? At what point do you say no, like, or do you block them, or just any of that? You know what I mean? And Jeffree, you're right. If you have to ask how old they are, walk away. Like, find somebody who's obviously your age. And another thing is, I know people also will not agree with me on this. And maybe it's just because I have this teacher mentality and I love kids, and like if a 16-year-old were to come to me and be like, Cherita, I need some advice, I'd talk to them. Whereas some people are like, nope, as an influencer, you shouldn't be talking to anybody underage. And I understand that, to protect yourself. But if they're just asking you like, hey Cherita, how do I get my parents to see that the national anthem is racist? I'll tell them. But then if they're like, wow, like, you're really pretty, can I get your no, sorry, blocked. And then right now there's this really damning evidence of this kid has had his age on his Instagram profile for like 11 weeks. So if James did see his Instagram profile, then he would have seen that it said he was 16. And I don't think it's bad luck, because at what point do you go, all right, I need to make a change, you know? It's for like, what is it? First time, shame on you, what is it? You guys know the quote. Shame on me once, shame on you once, shame on me twice, whatever it's called. But after the second time, you have to look at yourself. And Audra, you're right. It's a pattern. And now, like, first of all, somebody needs to take his phone away from him. Thank you, Glam. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. There it is. Yes, thank you, Emily. And he does have to start covering all his bases. And, you know, he did say, what did he say? Something like, well, maybe now I have to start asking for IDs. Now it should have been after the first person. ID, social security, something. And he can't flirt with his fans because he has to protect himself. Just like, so the first guy, the waiter guy, he, you know, said he was bi-curious or something like that, and then basically tried to trick James so he could get his clout. That was the first time, which the kid was not underage, which which is okay, that's good. But it didn't help that James has said before that he likes, oh yeah, I like straight guys. Straight people are going to take that and run with it and be like, yeah, look, James tried to get me. And like, I'm not a gay man. I know, surprisingly, I am not a gay man. And so I don't know what it's like for like to hear, like, oh yeah, I can trick gay people, or I can trick straight people into being gay or gauged. And oh yeah, and then there was Gage. Like it's just a lot, you guys. It's a lot, because at this point, the straight thing is weird. How many times does it take for him to make sure the kid is not a kid? Right. The straight thing was weird. The underage thing was weird. The other underage thing was weird. Somebody needs to take his phone and just, I don't know if why James feels like he has to have a boyfriend, or I don't know. I don't know. Eddie says he's looking for trade. Okay, that makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, aren't there websites for that? Aren't there websites for finding trade? And I understand that there will be people on, like on dating sites to try to trick gay men, but at least you're covering, like you're covering it. AR says he don't need his phone taken away. He needs to stop playing like he's an idiot. He's a grown man who has been here before more than once. At this point, it's giving me play naive once caught. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I don't even think that was being naive. I honestly don't even think that was being naive. And he does look like a baby. He does. And I understand, people looking old for their age or whatever. I mean, young for their age, old for their age, however you want to look at it. No. And like 16-year-olds have a different mindset than 21-year-olds. Like the fact that James got suspicious after the fact, like after he had already sent those videos and photos. Like, are we just going straight into photos? And then again, at this point, stop sending your pictures. Stop sending pictures. We know people who make themselves seem so innocent, and people will be like, oh no, he could never do that. Yeah. And that's on manipulation. Like that right there is on manipulation. AR said at this point, I need him to just hire a professional escort and call it a day. Because and I'm not James. I don't know what James is looking for. All we see is what he puts out, on the internet. But it sounds like desperation. And I know that's sad, but there are people who desire, physical touch and intimacy and whatever. But like you've got to think here, especially being the person that you are, especially like he has such a huge following, and people will do anything for clout. They'll do anything. Oh, ASMR wants to know what's trade. I mean, I know what it is, but I feel like a gay man could explain it better. There we go. So Athena says someone, well, no, I mean, that's not my idea of trade. Someone getting with someone consensually for sexual pleasure. That's not, there we go. Okay, Kimia, that's how I think. Trade is like a down low guy, very straight acting that goes for other men, usually feminine passing or feminine men. So James is looking for somebody, and I think that's why he went from saying I like straight boys to, well, I don't even know if he said he wants trade or something like that. But yeah, like usually it's somebody who's on the down low and isn't flamboyant, which I hate that terminology, but that's basically what trade is. Yeah. And so Rose's 2 cents, hey, says he knows he's playing with fire and he got burned. And Earth says she wants a straighten, period. And I think, yeah, but then at what point do you say like at what point is a straight person who is having sexual contact with a gay man, like at what point does that make that person trade? Or I don't know. Parents aren't checking their kids' phones. And then here's the other thing. My son is only 9. So when do you stop checking your kids' phones? Like this kid was 16. I know there's a lot of 16-year-olds out here who their parents don't look at their phones. So like at what point do you say, okay, I trust you with your phone, And then something like this happens, you know? About 16. About 16. And he's at that age. My godmom checks her 16-year-old's phone. Stuff has happened. And also, if you think about it, there's a difference between how parents raise their boys and how parents raise their girls. Girls don't get the luxury of having their phone for, like until they're 18 and they're grown and they can do whatever they want to. Whereas, these boys are like 15, 16 years old and it's like, oh, do whatever you like. So, and Alexis, the only thing about that, Alexis says, I hope the victims go to the police instead of social media. The thing about that is the police aren't going to do anything about it until there's outrage. And Irv says, it's just like, why is this only happening to him? Like, I don't see this happening to Manny and the rest of them. I mean, because Manny's smart. and I don't think Manny is out here flirting with his, I don't think Manny is out here flirting with his fans, which that's weird. Like kicking it with your fans and hanging out with your fans, because first of all, how do you even know they're a true fan? How do you know they have your best interest at heart? And I think at this point, people go out of the way to trick him, and he's dumb enough to fall for it multiple times. Okay, and that's the biggest thing is, so when do you stop falling for it? When do you stop? Like, why can't he just get on a website? Oh, I don't even. First of all, Manny was caught on Scruff. I don't know what Scruff is, so there's that. AR said, Manny ain't trying to get his cakes beat down to the ground by a Bryce Hall dude. And right. Yeah. If James wants to talk to his fans, get on a live. Like James has been doing, what's it called? Omegle, whatever it's called. And he gets to talk to his fans, and that's cool. That's awesome. But you have to separate your fans from the people that you want to date. You have to at this point. It has to be. And it's just, and people are going to still continue to try to give him the benefit of the doubt, just like they do every other white influencer, every other white man. They do it only to white men. Prove me wrong. But they just keep giving him the benefit of the doubt over and over and over. And that's why a lot of people are the way they are. And yes, James needs to stop replying to DMs. The minute, especially the minute it gets weird. The second it gets weird, he needs to be like, oh no, we're done. And he needs more boundaries. Yes, can you imagine if James was Black? Please. I mean, people would be involved. And okay, so yep, here we go. We're going to talk about Jerry. So if you guys don't know who Jerry is, Jerry was on the show Cheer. And Cheer was, it was on Netflix. And Jerry, was this very just like happy-go-lucky, just like rambunctious, like, he was on Ellen. He got to interview people on the red carpet. He has just like positive energy and vibes. And now, granted, again, this is another issue that we have, and Jerry is part of the Cheer world. And now, granted, he's not on top, and he's not in control of everything, but it became public that Jerry was sexting minors and and exchanging photos with minors and all this other stuff. And Jerry has like this very fun, outgoing personality. However, what he did, it's unforgivable. And you can't allow, just because, you know, he's a good person, to sway your views. However, I do have a lot of thoughts about that. I think Jerry is a victim, but I think he's also a predator. Like, I feel like both things could be true at once. Just like, you know, people who have been assaulted, you know, as a young child, they usually grow up to do it to somebody else. And I'm not saying that's okay. I don't think that's okay at all. But I feel like it's learned. But that's all it took, was that mom, that white mom, to go to the FBI or the cops and was like, here are the pictures, here's the evidence. And even if the kids did lie about their age, it doesn't matter. I think they were 15, and I think Jerry was like 19, 20. But Jerry was also paying young kids to be like, can you send me a picture? And the FBI got involved, and Jerry is locked up. Jerry is locked up right now. And Jerry had this electrifying personality. Everybody loved Jerry. People didn't even, who know nothing about cheerleading, they're like, oh, we love Jerry. We love Jerry. And I mean, yes, James, but here's the thing, is James was even able to put out a statement. Jerry was not awarded a statement at all. Jerry was not awarded a statement. So unfortunately, like, it was illegal, therefore Jerry is in jail. And James was allowed to put out a statement. Jerry was not. And I'm so sorry, Lynn. And let's see, a lot of names in cheer would have been arrested for similar actions. Another athlete from Navarro. Well, Robert wasn't on Navarro, but yes, Robert was on SMOED. And Robert, I mean, and also we don't even know about, like, where is Robert? Like, I mean, everybody was on Jerry, and I also think it has a lot to do with the fact that he was on the show Cheer, but I haven't heard anything about Robert since he got arrested. Robert was arrested, and now where is he? And Robert, for the record, is white. And he got caught sending text messages, and Robert, I think, is 25. And yeah. And he got arrested for the same thing that Jerry did. I don't even know where he is. But yeah, the thing about Jerry, that was intense. Like, all you have to do is just like Google Jerry cheer, and so many things will pop up. And then I do know that there were people trying to, you know, like, pay for his bail, Jerry's bail, and like all this other stuff. And yeah. Oh. And there's also, in the cheer industry, there is a list of people who are, you know, who are on like the banned list, but it doesn't say why they're banned. And I think if it has anything to do with kids, you need to know. You have the right to know. If they were out here, you know, messaging kids or touching kids or whatever it is, it needs to be noted, you know, just like sexual offenders. You can look at what offense it was, you know. You can go and look and say, oh, they, they touched a baby, or it was 18 and under, or 14 and under, or it was forced, or it was, like, you should know exactly what it was. You should know what it was. So I don't know. It's a lot. And it, like I said, like, you have to stop whatever's happening from the top, because somebody did it to somebody who did it to somebody who did it to somebody. And we have to stop that one person, which I'm sure it's multiple people. We have to stop it from here. Because like I said, this person's going to do it to this person, and people who do it to especially somebody who's like 19 or 20 and they're messaging a 13-year-old, they usually think it's okay because it happened to them. However, once you're 18, like, you should know. You should know. Sorry, not messing with it. I need you to know. Like, I feel like we all need those card readers, you know, like when you go to buy alcohol, when they swipe your card, it's valid and this is you. This is what we need. And it sucks. And it sucks. So it's, I don't know. It's weird. All of these industries that deal with young kids, especially sports, we've got to abolish whatever is up here, just tear it down and start over. And can we have a little bit of diversity? I mean, just a little bit. Abuse victims who turn into abusers usually do it to take back the power that they lost. And that's sad, but it's true. And that's just like, at what point do you get over, well, I don't even want to say get over, but at what point do you tackle your hurt? You know, at what point do you go, okay, I've been hurt and I don't want to put that hurt onto anybody else. It's time for me to get help. At what point do you do that? AR says, I feel if this persists with James, we might be like we were with Shane Dawson asking, how did it get this far? Yes, YouTube and Susan, the real Helen Keller, they only regain vision to count the coins. Right, because a lot of people will say, well, with Shane Dawson, they'll say, well, Shane was, you know, this is back in the day when it was edgy humor. There's nothing edgy about talking sex with a 12-year-old. There's nothing edgy about asking a 14-year-old girl to twerk when you're like 25. There's nothing edgy about it. And people want to say, oh, well, that was back in the day. No. Okay, so say it was back in the day. Have they changed from back in the day? No. And it's showing because they're still able to get away with certain things. And YouTube is very complicit. Like, I would even, like, I could even try to pretend that, I mean, as long as they're not hurting kids, they can say whatever, like, they can be violently racist. But for them to be weird with kids, like, especially Shane, like, it was literally his personality trait to be weird with kids. And I'll never forget, can somebody block this person? You're more disgusting. I'll never forget that interview that he did. And he was like, yeah, the 6-year-old girl, and she was SEXY, like, am I allowed to say that? And the girl was just laughing and I understand it may have been like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like an uncomfortable laugh. Like, I understand that, but she was just like, Shane, you can't say that. You can't say that. Ha 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 ha. And he was just like, no, but like, really, like, she was really pretty and like SEXY. And it's like, yeah, let's not refer to kids as that. Like, you can say she's cute if you mean it in like a father-daughter, you know, like a father-daughter type situation. Thank you, Xavier. But yeah, I just, oof. It was, nope. And he still continued to thrive. He still continues to thrive, and he's not even on YouTube right now. And then he has people out here defending Trisha Paytas. like it's getting weird. It's getting weird. It's really getting weird. But Like, some of these people need to be literally abolished from YouTube. Like Onision, because he's creepy too. And I don't know. The audacity he had thinking there'd be no consequences for putting all that online. Absolutely. Absolutely. It takes the 50th time for them to get caught. Then we get hit with the I'm growing and taking time out. And it's like, so it took this to grow. And that's the thing is when serious consequences like aren't like when you don't suffer serious consequences, people will just be like, well, I mean, sure, they'll just, suspend my account for a day or two and then I'll just be right back manipulating people. Incel and energy. Yes, Adrian. And Lynn, I'm with you. I don't think he should come back either, but apparently he's making this big, huge comeback, which is weird to me. Some people just don't need access to the internet, and that's a fact. That is a fact. The whole situation is just I'm judging those who still stand Jeffree, James, and or Shane. It's just those Onision stand trying to fight for their name to be cleared. I mean, again, just imagine if first of all, let's imagine if a woman did that. And secondly, let's imagine if a Black person did that. Like, it just would not go over well. It would not go over well. Like yesterday when I had tweeted, when I said abolish old white men, there were so many people in my comments and they were like, I reported you. Okay. Like that's and I haven't been on my cheer Twitter for a long time, but that's like the most like engagement I've gotten in so long. And then this one lady was quick to call me angry. She's like, you're crazy and you're angry. Like, I would love to see where the anger is. Oh, and I was hateful. I was hateful and angry, and they're always so quick to just be like, oh, the angry Black woman trope. But when Jeffree Star goes off on a fan, it's yes, sis, tell them off. Go off. Wait. All right. It must be nice. It must be nice. AR says, I love to see all these problematic creators playing the moral good guy to take out the content creators they hate. I think we should just stay quiet on it and watch them take each other out. Black influencers immediately strike down. White influencers get sympathy and understanding. Oh my gosh. That's the thing, is they get the understanding. It's the understanding for me. I don't know why or how. I do not know why or how. Like, especially when it happens time after time after time. Like, let's talk about this Jeffree and Jay situation, Hair by Jay situation. So first of all, Trisha, talked about her experience with Jeffree and James in Las Vegas, and basically was saying how they were mean to her and they called her out her name and they were, fat shaming her and all this other stuff. And while I don't think she, like, I'm trying to find the best words for this. I don't think she deserved any of that. I don't think even though Trisha does horrible and terrible things, I don't think anybody deserves that. However, I don't know why she was so surprised. I don't know why she was surprised when she was like, I can't believe they would treat me like that. Excuse me. But you know how these people speak. Because if they're speaking like this, to your face, and Jeffree is saying things like, oh, it's fine, like she calls herself fat all the time, and he's using that to justify why he's talking about her. They've talked like this before. So then Hair by Jay gets online, and the words, like, I could not, I was just like, why is he so hateful. Like, he was so hateful and was just calling her out of her name. And then at the end was like, but like, I really like her. Like, I don't have a problem with her. I don't want to know how you talk about people that you do have a problem with. And I don't want to be that person that you have a problem with. Because if you're saying those mean things about Trisha, somebody that you don't have a problem with, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. So then, Jeffree was like, oh, I didn't even know this whole situation happened. Yes, you did. And he's like, oh, well, I was in Wyoming. Well, here's a picture. Like, I wish I could, that TikTok thing where they do this and there's like the screenshot. Like, well, here's a picture of you with Jay, the day before or after it happened. And then he does his manipulation tactic and he goes, good morning to everybody except for the guy that used to do my hair. And everybody was like, yes, king, yes, queen, you fired him, blah, 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 blah. And then 2 days later, they're friends again. Oh, I hold my people accountable. I had nothing to do with that. You think I had something to do with that? Yes. Yes, I do. I think you talked about Trisha in a way that allowed Jay to feel comfortable to talk about Trisha. These people come for women, but wouldn't be able to handle Black influencer. And that's nothing but the truth. And, and for people to think, because again, I always say this, you're the company that you keep. And I'm not talking about like your online friends or whatever, but somebody that you're actively hanging out with. And we've seen the way that Jeffree talks to people who even support him. We've seen the way that he talks about his fans. We've seen this time after time after time. And for you to not believe that, like at this point, it's mental illness or maybe crack. I don't know. Somebody said, okay, regarding James, once you reach a certain level of fame, you should not be using platforms like Snapchat to interact with fans. There needs to be more distance between you and the fan. Absolutely. And I agree 100%. And that's why I'm just like, James, let me know. I mean, you can, I'll do the dirty work. I don't know. It just don't make no sense. Granted, I understand, yeah, you might find that person attractive, but that doesn't mean you have to act on it. AR says, I don't care enough about Trisha. Validate what they did to her. She is playing a moral card to seek revenge. I mean, we're just gonna have to see the way that it plays out. And Lily says, we've seen the way Trisha talks about people she gets no pass. Exactly. And that's the other thing is, I feel like two things can be true at once. Well, I feel like more than two things can be true at once. One, you don't have to feel bad for Trisha, but you can also condemn the things that these people said. I had tweeted when that whole situation went down that Trisha's not a victim. And I don't think she's a victim because she's talked about people the same way. You know what I mean? She's talked about people the same way. So for people to be like, oh, I feel so bad. Why? And I guess on the opposite end, you can feel bad for her, but also realize that she's done bad things, because people say, well, two wrongs don't make a right. Right. And I understand that is very true. But we can also go back to talking about how we don't have to tolerate intolerance. So somebody who is all the time intolerant, and then you expect, then all of a sudden they want to play this moral police. It's weird. It's weird. Trisha is the boy who cried wolf. I agree. Isn't it also funny how the entire Dramageddon situation went down alongside the Jeffree Shane collab? Jeffree and Shane were such good friends and all, just for Shane's palettes to be price cut. And that's a whole other situation. Jeffree Star, he's not friends to anybody. He's not. And once, people always, when Jeffree cut ties with all those people that he was no longer friends with, people always were saying, well, those people used Jeffree. No. Jeffree used those people. Because obviously when Jeffree started on YouTube, he obviously didn't have the amount of subscribers that he had. So he was using people in the beauty community to climb his way to where he is now. Hence, Manny. I will die on the hill that Manny was not the bad friend in that situation. That is a hill that I will die on. And the only thing that we ever heard was from Jeffree saying, well, Manny was just a bad friend. And everybody went along with it. It wasn't, well, why was he a bad friend? How is he a bad friend? And again, if you look, like, can we just talk about the common denominator? The common denominator is Jeffree himself. And people still want to be like, oh, no. It wasn't him. Like, if it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it got feathers like a duck, it's yellow like a duck, it's got a beak as a duck, its name is Duck. Like, it pitter patters like a duck. Like, again, at this point, like, if you don't want to believe it, you just don't want to believe it. That's just where we are. That's just where we are. Did I tweet this? Absolutely. It's a duck. It's a duck. So I just, at this point, you just don't want to see it. And I understand people always want to see the best. I understand that. But yeah. I understand, I do. Because even, and I say this all the time, like, I even tried to give Jeffree a second chance. Now, granted, I didn't really know much about him, but it was that stupid Shane docuseries. And then the minute somebody was like, well, actually, he's still racist, I was like, yep, nope, I believe it. I believe it. Because when people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Because then your feelings are going to get hurt. Just like Trisha. Hi, Jaden. And just like Trisha, again, like, I know how she words things. People are going to feel bad for her. But again, like I said, multiple things can be true at once. I feel bad for Trisha for thinking that her being sexual is the only way that she can rise above. Like, I feel her as a woman. I feel bad for her as a woman because, unfortunately, like, that's just how she grew up. However, she's 32. When do you get help for that? Like, when do you go, all right, this has ruined me X amount of times, and I should probably go get help, because she's now tearing down other communities, and not just people, but communities, because she doesn't just attack like a single person. It's always a group of people. It's always a community, which I think is weird. And so, and then Shane, when what was that? What's his name? Charles Gross. And Charles Gross was like, here, Trisha, here are the voice memos of Shane talking mess about you. And she was upset. And it's like, but I know for a fact, like, somebody like that talks like that all the time. So there's no way that she never heard Shane talk about anybody else. So, and I agree that Trisha's an opportunist, but when is she going to release them voice memos? Like, when? That's what we're all waiting for. When is she going to release those voice memos? Why would she get help when the entire internet babies and coddled her? You're right. You're not wrong about that. Trisha's like everyone else. She can never go down on her own ship. She has to bring people down with her. Yeah. Like maybe she's waiting, like she's waiting to strike, which is weird and vindictive, but like she's waiting for the perfect time, like the perfect moment. Like imagine you're about to take stage at the Grammys and and like somebody releases like some embarrassing photo of you on the green screen as you're standing up there like giving your speech for a Grammy. Like just to like steal, like I feel like that's something she would do. I feel like that's something she would do. Yeah, he's definitely talked mess about her. Why did she not suspect he would do the same? Listen, I don't even know. I do not even know. I don't know. I don't know if, what was I going to say? Oh, if they're all still friends behind the scenes. Oh, see, and that's what a lot of people have been saying. People are like, oh, this is just one big like conspiracy type deal. But my whole thing is that it stemmed from something that happened last year. So unless they're turning it into a conspiracy, then sure. But the things that were said about Trisha are true because what's his name? Tab David, he's the one who came out with that video first and was just like, Jeffree's still not a good person. I heard him say this slur. I heard him say this. I heard him say that. And unless they anticipated Tab coming out with this video, like I just find it hard that it's just one big conspiracy. And then that Trisha a year later talked about it and then Jay got mad and like I don't know. I just find it very hard to believe that this has been one whole like contrived situation. I find it very, very hard just because it started from Tab. Actually, it started way before Tab with, them talking mess and whatever, but Tab just boom. Let me see. On James' side, I just wish the Dolan twins would grow up hair and go ahead and let that story be told. Listen, somebody else brought up a good point. Do you feel, AR, get out of my head, please. Can I ask the question first? Do you feel like somebody paid them to not say something? That's literally how I feel. That's how I feel. Oh, she's too busy trying to take out David Dobrik and Jason Nash. Yeah. That's also going to be weird. Drama aside, how was your week? My week was rough, but I am here and I'm living. Did Tab do was Tab the hair guy before Hair by Jay? Was Tab the hair guy? Because he went because Jay was on that trip. Jay was on that trip. Tab is a model. I feel like the Dolan twins have just seen a lot. I just feel like I don't think the Dolan twins have done anything, but I think they've just seen a lot. I think they've seen the way that Jeffree interacts with people. I don't know if James has, like done anything to make the Dolan twins uncomfortable. I know there was that whole situation about Ethan or the other one. I don't know, but everybody was like, well, James said that all of those videos were pretty much scripted. So I don't know. And the Dolan twins never came out and said that they felt any type of way. It was people just assuming. And so we don't know. Yeah, there's too many hair guys. There's too many hair guys, but Tab, well, in his video, I think he said that Jeffree just hit him up and was like, do you just want to come hang out with us type deal. The fact that Dolan twins stopped associating with James unannounced is weird. It wasn't unannounced. Well, it was unannounced, but it was when Tati came out with her video, and then he lost like 3 million subscribers. That's when they all stopped, like Emma Chamber, all of them just cut it off. They all just cut off. And again, I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. I think that was all scripted. They're bad actors, and they rode Clout Train with the Shane video. Yeah. I've been following you when you were just at 1,000. Oh, thank you. I love these talks too, because I feel like so much happens in the week, and I'm always like, okay, let me do a video. But then life happens, and I be all tired. So then I don't make a video. But I have notes in my phone for days. But Lily, you're right. It could be more, and I don't know. There's just a lot. And of course, we don't know all of the ins and outs when it comes to James and Jeffree and like all these big influencers. But all we know is like what we see. That's all we know. I know that Allie Truth Sleuth, I know she's making a video tomorrow about Jeffree. There's some tea about his new collaboration, or not collaboration, his new launch, his new palette. And excuse me. But all we know is, what people send us, something about DMs, whatever. Tell me your thoughts on the current rise of live content like this and Twitch. How do you think it'll change the internet entertainment industry? Honestly, I don't know. I think, because I know Twitch has become a big thing. Is that what it's called, Twitch? With like live streams. But I feel like people like this. Hey, Nana. I feel like this kind of interaction is good for people. I don't know about you guys, but when I listen to podcasts, and it depends on the podcast that I'm listening to, but I'm always like, oh my God, yes. And then I realize that they can't talk back to me. So I think this kind of interaction is good. And I like it. I think we're now in this stage of society where we can have these kinds of conversations. Whereas me growing up, we just sit and watch TV. And if we had something to say, we'd write it down, or we'd blog about it, or, we'd have to wait until the next day to talk to our friends about it, because phone calls, you don't want to run out of minutes. And so the internet, entertainment industry, I think it will now AR internet entertainment industry. I think it'll help. And then also maybe people will become, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a talk show host. Maybe they can have like live talk shows and stuff like that. What's that man's name? Jason Lee. He does live kind of talk show things, like maybe once a week, probably more than like that. And I enjoy things like that. AR said, can we introduce James to adamandeve.com? Goodbye, sir. The beauty community is dying due to these exact situations. Nobody wants the career ruining drama anymore. Okay, so let's talk about how drama channels were not even a thing until who entered the chat? Because drama channels didn't have anything to talk about when it came to, at least when it came to the beauty community. Nobody was really paying attention to people's lives and things like that. Like, yeah, you had TMZ. Hi, Bethany. Yep, you guys got it. You had people like TMZ, Talk Soup. Oh my gosh, I just showed my age. But you had all of these other forms of entertainment, but they were only talking about celebrities. And then I think, like, well, I know Here for the Tea was like one of the bigger, one of the first bigger drama channels. And, she talked about the first thing that she really, that I can remember, I shouldn't say the first thing, but she talked about Jaclyn Hill, and she really just talked about influencers and not disclosing certain things and whatnot. you know, like doing promo, and then it became a thing where you, like, if you're doing a promotional, like say I was doing this live and I was like, okay, I'm doing my makeup and I'm using this Black Radiance loose setting powder and da 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 da, and Black Radiance had paid me. People were just not even saying that they were getting paid to talk about this. And so Sam here for the tea, you know, she kind of exposed all that. And I think that's kind of what led people into talking about those, about drama or about beauty influencers. But then when that man entered the chat, just drama all over the place. And, you know, and that's where drama channels were getting their content from, was him. And that's why I use the term payroll. That's why I said it. That's why I said these people must be on his payroll, because they refuse to say anything negative about him. And now that it's cool to talk bad or to call him out, now they want to say, oh, well, I've been calling him out from the beginning. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Like, me and my friends used to get talked about so bad for calling him out. So bad. But, I mean, it is what it is. And yeah, he was giving tea to those channels to get exposed. Yeah. I mean, and now you've got people who used to do drama, who, I mean, they're not even on the internet anymore. They're not even on the internet anymore. And it's just like, dog, just stay true to yourself at this point. At this point, just stay true to yourself. Like, if I ever got on camera and tried to defend him, like to the point where it was like you knew there was something wrong, like I would expect you guys to be like, okay, you're definitely getting paid. Like, you're definitely getting paid. They're, you know, they're getting PR. And I mean, and some of these people weren't even wearing makeup, which was weird. That was weird to me. That was very weird to me. How did the No More Nudes, the No More Nudes palette do? He hasn't sold out in anything in like over a year. So there's that. And I want to know, so, okay, so let's talk about his new release really quick. So Blood Sugar was his like very first like super successful palette. And I'm not gonna lie, I liked the palette because it was the first time that a bunch of reds were used, because I do know that what is it, Carmine or something was using a lot of reds, and that's not I think it's like beetle blood or beetles or something. And so it was hard to make a good red pigment without while being vegan and animal cruelty free or whatever. And so I was like, this is a dope palette because nobody's ever seen like a whole thing of reds. And I think because now like his sales are tanking, he's relaunching that, but he's doing like these small palettes, and it's literally the same what is it, a Blood Sugar palette, but with like one shade that's been changed. Why didn't he just do a small palette of all new reds? Like, it's weird. It's weird. And I don't know if people are eating it up. I honestly don't know. I feel like more people are going to start shopping indie. I truly do. I feel like people are just over all of these bigger influencers and giving their money to these big influencers while they're out here being problematic on purpose. You know, the last time, he had a video that was over like 1 million subscribers is, I think, the Kanye video. I want to say it was a Kanye video. Oh, speaking of indie, get your Mira Beauty palettes. And but yeah, indie all the way. Jeffree new packaging is giving me straight to Claire's. Yeah, and like it wasn't even. And that's the other thing is his packaging has always been. What's the word I'm looking for? Like like it's not. What's the word I'm looking for? Like it's not good to like for storing. It just like it doesn't make any sense. Like it's cool looking, but I feel like those should be left for PR, and palettes should be. You guys are probably like, how much makeup you got near you? Like I can easily store this somewhere, you know? I can easily store this somewhere. But something that's like big and clunky and shaped like a pig, like you can't store that anywhere without, I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird and it is gaudy. Very gaudy. And I get it, but yeah, okay, so I hope so, because then brands like Drench and Midas could thrive. Yes, and functional, thank you. That's the word. That's the word I was really looking for. They're not functional. And I actually can't wait for the Drench and Midas palette to come out. Yeah, it's not stackable, but like none of it. Yeah. I mean, and if we're being honest, I don't think his makeup was innovative in any way. Like it wasn't terrible by any means, but it just wasn't the best. Yeah, his makeup is collectible makeup. Correct. That's just like, have you guys seen the new Blockbuster palette? It's like, you know, like Blockbuster Video or whatever. I like it because it's very like nostalgic, but the colors are giving me very chalk. But I would buy it just to collect it. Yes, Hot Topic makeup. You know, they've got like the Nickelodeon palettes, and then you try to use it, and it's just chalky. So yeah, people out here really thinking he did something where, again, I think the best thing that he did was that blood sugar palette, to be completely honest. Now, Lynn, I've owned a palette, but I didn't buy it from like Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I actually purchased it from a friend. And it actually is the blood sugar palette. That's why I go to that palette. I haven't used another palette of his. So like I would be like the biggest hypocrite and liar if I said I never owned anything Jeffree Star. So, but I have. I sure have. You know, I liked Jawbreaker. It was really good, but there's better. Okay, Jawbreaker. I'm trying to remember. Like I know which one that is, but like I'm just trying to remember. I don't see people using his makeup, and that's the other thing. But I think people are to that point where they know if they use it, then people are going to call them out. I think that's the point that we're at. Yeah, I think that's where they are. Because there's certain, I remember this one video from Jackie, and this was years ago. And I don't know if it was a Q&A, I'm trying to remember what it was, but she was like, if y'all knew, and also, you know, Jackie does get stuff in PR and whatever, but I remember Jackie saying something like, if y'all knew some of the makeup that I use, you guys would probably cancel me. Because there's certain makeup brands where people be like, oh, I would never use that. You know, like remember Kat Von D? Like people just stopped using her makeup, or at least showing their makeup. But I bet you there's been times where, you know, Jackie's worn something controversial on her face. I'm sure there's tons of people out there, especially for the fact that they want to use up that makeup. So I know there's people out there still using his makeup, but to show it off, they know that that's not good for them and their brand. I know. That's just like, for instance, oh, first of all, t-shirt check, Jeffree. I've worn this a lot of times, but this is silvery t-shirt and it says They want our culture, but not our struggle. And yes, his only customers are his fans. Like he's just not selling like he used to. And I like Kat Von D lipsticks. I forgot what I was saying, but yeah, just like to show his makeup and be like, I'm using Jeffree Star, da da da. People are gonna be like, oh baby, no, no, like that's not what we're going to do. Yeah, people want to use up their old stuff. Very young fans I'm seeing. True. That's the only one I could use. I have highlighter and lip B. He can only hold that demographic's attention for so long anyway. Okay, yes. So moving on with so you have to grow with your audience. Meaning, especially, or you have to keep like your same whatever. Let's take Jojo Siwa for example. Jojo Siwa is 17. And she's been rocking the side ponytail and the big bows and the glitter and the shimmers since she was, I don't know, 8, 9. I honestly don't know. However, that her target demographic are that age. Even as she grew, she's still doing the same thing, the side ponytail with the bow and da da da. And a lot of people are like, she needs to act her age. She needs to grow with her audience. Okay. She's keeping the same core audience. Now, her audience will outgrow her, but other 8 and 9 and 10-year-olds are still going to like her. And I don't see anything wrong with it. Y'all wasn't out here talking about how come Steve from Blue's Clues doesn't stop hanging out with that weird animated dog. That's who he was. That was his persona. And when he felt that, maybe he got too old to play Steve from Blue's Clues, then he moved on. But to sit there and be like, I just understand why JoJo doesn't act her age. She's rich. If I right now, if somebody was like, Cherita, put on some combat boots, a sparkly dress, and put a bow right here and go sing some pop toony songs to some 8-year-olds, and you're gonna make millions of dollars. We're all in this together. Listen, that would become my persona. That would become my persona. Hi, Nalani. Like, I just don't understand why people just find it so hard to believe that she's keeping up this persona for a lifestyle. Yes, come on, backup dancer. Tyler Oakley, for example, realized that his 2010, 2015 YouTube Tumblr audience is now older and he doesn't want to create that. He doesn't want to create for that demographic. Right. So like you grow. Either you, like I said, either you grow or you stay with your audience. And Jojo Siwa she's a great example for these 8, 9, 10-year-olds. I mean, if I had a child who was into Jojo Siwa, I'd let them watch JoJo. I mean, she's not problematic. She's just out here dancing and singing songs. Like, I'm trying to figure out where the problem is. And a lot of people are like, well, she's just not acting her age. How are 17-year-olds supposed to act? And Lily, I get it. Like, and I know a lot of people, especially her age, have been like, yeah, it's creepy, but at least she's not like online she's one way and then here she's another way. Because I feel like, again, that's her persona. I'm Punky Brewster old too, so it's cool. But the girl is making money and being like, oh no. The girl is getting her money. She's getting her money and just living her best life. I don't know. I honestly just don't know how else. I don't know how else to say it, because girl is, yeah. Oh Jesus, leave me alone. Hold on real quick. To be honest, I think I prefer my kids to look at Jojo Siwa rather than the TikTok kids. Yep. And that's how I feel, especially if my kid was, well, I mean, I do have a 9-year-old son, but he doesn't like Jojo Siwa, whatever. But he also is not like on TikTok and all this other stuff. But yeah, I'd rather my kid be like Jojo Siwa, or not even be, but just like look up to her, because she's not out here doing any and everything for clout. I think JoJo, I mean, because she started off on Dance Moms, and then she just created her own little personality. You know, she's been on shows like The Masked Singer, and you know, whatever. She's doing the damn thing, and she hasn't lost her mind, and she's still able to collab with people. Like, she collabed with James Charles, but she didn't like take on his persona. You know, they did like a makeover, like for, I think like for her, you know, and like her hair was so cute, and she's, you know, had this soft little beat or whatever, and she was so cute. She was super duper cute. But that's not her personality. And maybe if she wants to dress like that in the future, then allow her to. And yes, we do need to protect. She's a sweet little cinnamon roll. We need to protect her, because she's not doing anything to anybody. So now all I can speak is how she is right now. I can't talk about the future, the unforeseen future. But she's just out here living her best life with her cute little girlfriend. I think they look alike, but that's just me. Trying to think, what else did I say we were going to talk about? We've been all over the place. Ah! Yes, AR. Okay. So can we talk about Christian Walker being in that dance routine video, child, and then they called him out about wanting to be masculine again in Ryland Adams, if you have time. Yay, Nathan, congratulations. Nathan said he got first place in Kahoot during his English class. Allie says we need to be more aware of the difference between persona and personality. Yes. That is so true. Ooh, tweet me that, because that's actually a good topic of conversation. Okay, let's talk about Christian Walker. So Christian Walker, if you guys don't know, is, okay, this is the perfect persona versus personality, Allie. Christian Walker, his persona is this conservative, anti-LGBTQ, anti-pro-black, black gay man. Like, I don't know how it works, but he's all of those things. So he's gay, he's biracial, his mother is white, his dad is black, but he's conservative, and he is anti-LGBTQ, and he's anti-pro-black. He's always talking about how those nasty liberals and those nasty Black Lives Matter people and blah, blah, blah. And then he went on when Harry Styles came out and wore a dress, like, just because he wanted to wear a dress. I don't know, like, it didn't bother anybody. And Christian Walker was like, we need to bring back our strong, manly, strong, big, buff, masculine men. Child, and the next breath was dancing in heels. And not just dancing, but like, it was very feminine, you know, like rubbing the legs and opening the legs, and, you know, hair flipping and body rolling, and again, in heels. He had a problem with Harry Styles wearing a dress which is deemed feminine, but he's allowed to dance feminine and also wear heels which are deemed feminine. Like that, I just, like Adrian said, he needs to break First of all, he needs to break the gray contact shackles, but he also needs to break the shackles of he's doing this and he is a troll. However, what'd you say? Oh, hold on. Is this? I don't know if this is enough. I don't think this is. Is this glossy enough? It's got glitter in it. And then I don't. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I don't have a Starbucks cup, but. Oh. But I do have McDonald's coffee. All right. So, you nasty, nasty liberals, you nasty Black Lives Matter. All you guys do is care about Black people. But if Donald Trump was not racist, then why would he take a picture with my dark Black dad? You nasty, nasty liberals. And scene. But it was the dance for me. Now, here's the thing. He's also a cheerleader, which, again, just because you're a male cheerleader does not automatically make you gay. But Christian just happens to be a male cheerleader who's gay. And when he put out that video of him dancing in heels and was just, man, when I tell you I screamed when it was like low kick, like you can't even do a high kick like Christian Walker. Stop. And it's obvious he's a troll, but at what expense? Like, why are you like it's the fact that he knows that his people, the conservatives, I shouldn't even say conservatives. I should say the Trumpsters. That they I know, coffee this late. Well, it's only 7:50 and I'll be fine. But he's making it seem like, I don't know, because those Trumpsters are calling him all types of nasty names behind his back, but they use people like Christian Walker to be like, I can't be homophobic. I follow Christian Walker and he makes sense. But then in the same breath, oh my gosh, how come they can't just keep their flamboyancy down or whatever they say? I don't know what they be saying, but I know it's not nice. I know they don't say nice things about gay people. And it's just like Candace Owens. They'll be like, oh my God, did you hear what Candace Owens had to say? That's so amazing. But then they'll be like, Black lives don't matter. Like, But Christian Walker is allowing these people to be violently racist and violently homophobic. Like, no matter how, because I guarantee you, if you put that video of Christian Walker on, what's that one site that doesn't exist anymore, Parler? I bet you those people, first of all, they wouldn't even if you put it up there without Christians, without the person with the talking about, oh, this is Christian Walker, blah, blah, blah. If you just put that picture up there, they'd go in and start calling him all types of F words and Q words and just calling him all out of his name. But then the minute they find out it's Christian Walker, they're like, oh, well, he can do it. That's fine. And he's definitely the Black friend that they all talk about, but also he doesn't. Now, here's where I don't feel like I have much say. Because Christian is biracial. His mom is white, his dad is Black, his hairline is everything that you need to know. Like, we know your mom is white, we see your hairline. But I don't know if he just identifies as biracial. I don't know, and I'm not biracial, so I can't tell him what to identify as. when I look at him, I just see a gay biracial child. That's what I see. I don't necessarily see him as black. I don't necessarily see him as white. I just see him as a biracial person. And based on how he acts, Lily said his hairline is his own race. And like just based on off of his actions, you know, I see him as a gay man, but he just allows people to be violently racist and homophobic. And it's actually like, it's sad, but at the same time, it's just like, I mean, what do you expect from trolls? I feel like he's like the Hodge twins, because I feel like for some reason the Hodge twins used to make sense when they talked, but then they realized that they could just get all of these like white Republicans to follow them for them to be like, Black Lives Matter is just a, what do they say? It's an excuse to use the race card or whatever. AR said his contacts are a human right They are a human right violation. That's exactly what they are. Them contacts, baby. I cannot. Allie says, and Candace Owens wants to get upset when she's called the N-word, but doesn't understand how it correlates into Black Lives Matter. Because I'm telling you, who are the people calling her the N-word? Who? It's the Republicans that you so stand up for. And like, my whole thing is, you don't have to, like, you can hate the Black Lives Matter organization, you know, because I feel like with any organization, there's faults and whatever. But to say and believe in Black Lives Matter, like, that's not, I just don't find that controversial. Like, all lives matter can't matter until Black Lives Matter, you know? Hodge twins used to be normal. Okay, Dion, because, okay, so I found a tweet. So I have Time Hop where, you know, every day it'll show me my tweets from like years and years and years ago or whatever. And maybe about 2 or 3 months ago, I had found one that I had tweeted to the Hodge twins, and I don't know what they said. But I had responded back to them, and I said something and then like laughed about it. And I was like, oh, I need to delete this because I don't want people to think that I ever supported the Hodge twins. But then I'm thinking to myself, well, they had to have been somewhat normal for me to tweet them, whatever I had tweeted. AR said, I'm so disappointed in the Hodge twins. I used to follow them when they were real small and worked at Walmart. I think now their backstory is they used to be accounts or something. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because there's no way, like even 3 years ago, that I would have been okay with who they are now. So that's like, they just took on that persona to, I don't know. I do not know. It, yeah, politics scorn them. I mean, if people want to say what they want to say to try to get all of this clout or whatever, so let it be. That's just like, like, I don't know, like, I'm okay with people like getting their money, but just to like diss your own, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird to me. Just like Candace Owens, like something happened with Candace and she ran to NAACP, and you know, they were like, sis, we got you. And then all of a sudden it was like, I'm a Republican and Black Lives Matter is stupid. They used to talk about working out and answering emails. Okay. I guess that's all they used to talk about. But yeah, for whatever reason, I had tweeted them something, but then I was like, delete. You ain't gonna catch me talking to, no, not gonna happen. So they did a drastic change after they changed management. Yeah, I don't know. These people are weird. These people are weird. Hey. Oh my gosh, y'all. This has been a week. And at first I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go. I don't know if I'm going to do a live. But then when that James thing came out, and then the fact that all of it has literally been scrubbed from the internet. Like both of those TikToks are gone. Deaf Noodles got suspended for like 12 hours on Twitter because he shared that TikTok. To have that kind of, like, do you guys think it's money, power, both? And this is why I think James has a good team, but then he also does not have a good team. I was shocked to see them as hardcore Trump supporters because they used to tell, maybe that's what they used to tell off racists in their comments. Maybe I'm just trying to remember. James didn't make a TikTok. Somebody made a TikTok about James, and it didn't go viral, but it got deleted. James has a team and millions of dollars. Hire another person to help your dating life. Leave the followers to be fans. The power dynamic is too unbalanced. That's literally the best thing I could have said. If I change up, just know I'm getting the bag and leave me alone. I will cash up you hush money. You guys, how many times do I have to say, if y'all see me being problematic, mind your business. Like, I'm still the same person, but just mind your business, okay? Like, pretend you don't see. Like, pretend it's, you know how people, remember how drama channels used to pretend that they didn't see what Jeffree was doing? Do that with me. Just pretend you don't see it. And if they call you out and say, how come you're not calling Cherita out? Just ignore it. Mute. The mute's, don't block. Just mute. I almost choked on my spit. You can unfollow me on Twitter. It's fine. But just know that, like, we're here. Okay? Because I'm not changing up. But just mind your bill. Like, I might have a bill due. I might have a large bill due that month. I just might. So I think folks try hard to catfish his ass. Yep. I think people are trying to catfish James too, but he's got to protect himself. And that's just my stance. That's just my stance. My stance is, I don't think he's inherently a bad person, but this is his fault, and he's got to, like, he has to do better. Lynn, yes, take notes. Just mute them. Yeah, like how come rich people can get dirty money but we can't? My nail just came off. I'm gonna glue it on after this. Agree and agree. Yes. Like, rich people get dirty money all the time, and then people will be like, they worked hard for that money. Did they work hard for it? Can you show me? Like, show me where. Show me where they worked for this money. That's all I want to know. Because like, back to mediocre white people, I just found out the other day Onision got rich by dancing in a banana suit. Or not rich, but he like blew up on the internet by dancing in a banana suit. Like, first of all, how is that entertaining? And secondly, can I get in a banana suit and dance and get millions of subscribers? And excuse me. And then after I dance in said banana suit, I get online and I just talk mess about marginalized groups. And I talk about how Black women should do their hair. And I talk about how Black women's hair is disgusting. And still be relevant. Can I do that, please? 2009 was rough. Of course, we get that dirty money. It comes from the trickle-down economics. Y'all, it's a lot. It's a lot. Oh, yeah. My old coworker married into trust funds. Such hard work. Must be nice. Must be nice to marry into trust fund. Like, it's one thing to be born. Like, imagine being born in your blue ivy. Like, that's like, imagine being born and being blue ivy. But it's another to like fall. And I'm using this because sometimes I feel like trust fund, like marrying into trust fund can be like problematic. Like, some people will like see a rich person and be like, ooh, but then I also understand trust fund babies kind of have to preserve themselves and they can't tell the whole world that they're, a trust fund baby. But when you fall in love with a like, just must be nice. Ew, he made out with Shane. Ugh. Him making out with Shane didn't take off the way he thought it should, so the banana suit was the last resort. Ugh. Imagine, ugh. Imagine making out with somebody who doesn't brush their teeth just to try to make it. Oh, no, 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 that's not happening. Not happening. Mm-mm. No. Not going to be a thing. I can't. So they infected each other. Yes. Ugh, that's gross. So, well, you guys, it's been about 2 hours. This was so much fun. You guys are fun. Remember, bully me into doing this. Actually, okay, so next Friday, I will not be able to do this because I will be traveling for work. And so I won't even be home. So next Friday, I cannot do this live stream, but I'm pretty sure I could do it the Friday after. So real quick, what do I think of Patrick Star? I think Patrick is trying to be, I feel like Patrick Star is like me. Like he's trying to be problematic to make money. But like he can't be problematic. Like nice try, Patrick, but like no, like it just doesn't work for somebody like Patrick. Smokey Glow did a really good video on it, and that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Like Patrick has always kept to himself. Patrick's never really been, like, yeah, he was like friends with Jeffree and friends with, I guess he's still now friends with Nikita, and he's been friends with people who are problematic. But Patrick himself, I don't like, yeah, he's like a diva, but a lot of people are divas. Like he's stuck up, okay? And like stuck up doesn't mean you're problematic. So I just think Patrick was just like trying too hard in that situation. And then, and then because I think what like that next day or that next week, he launched what was it? Was it a powder? Was it a setting powder? He launched something, and that tweet, I mean, I don't know how many likes it has to this day, but I know that tweet was up for like a week and maybe had 200 likes. So it's like, okay, Patrick, like you should have just stuck to the nice girl thing, because at this point it's just not a good look. I mean, I don't really think anything of Patrick. He's never really been on my, like I feel like he just keeps to himself. Oh, a primer. There it is. Thank you. So yeah, I don't have like any ill will towards him or whatever. I want to know if Patrick got Vic and Cam that Jeffree campaign models, y'all. I don't know. That's good. Well, we can ask Cam, but I don't know where Vic has been. I think Vic has been on Instagram. I think that's where Vic has been. But we can ask Cam if Patrick got them that campaign deal. I don't know. Who could know? So, anyways, well, this was great. I enjoyed you guys so much. AR, we can talk about Rylan another day. I think Rylan's boring. The house, whatever. So yeah, but I will be on Twitter for the next couple hours because it's only 8 o'clock. And yeah. So yeah, and thank you. Safe travels. Thank you for the safe travels. And hopefully I'll have at least 2 videos up next week, at least. So thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.